Sono Tarugolan, bentornati sul mio canale. Oggi andiamo avanti con Stanley Parable. Ripartiamo esattamente da dove avevamo lasciato. Come avevo detto, avevo registrato tutto un unico video, quindi era diviso in due. Questa è la seconda parte. Ripartirà esattamente da dove abbiamo concluso. Quindi vi lascio direttamente all'episodio. Mi raccomando, se non siete iscritti, iscrivetevi e lasciate un like. Buona visione.
Choice.
Ma
It's
che...
the best part of being a real person, but if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read.
Ma che
Which
cosa...
choice would you make?
Ma
Remember that
sarà la
unlike here,
prima.
the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you
Ma
find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a bad sack of crack." Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day.
Ma come
Do
solo?
you make more than 8? Less? And
Due.
finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the
Molto
feeling should
probabile.
subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
No,
Welcome back.
ma è
You
cambiato.
may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Ah, non posso andare. Ah, così non posso scendere.
Now that we know
Maledetto,
your
è
choices are
furbissimo.
meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with
Sembra
reality.
quasi la mentalità Lucas del fatto che non muori nei giochi, ma al massimo appunto rinizi, ti sposti. Non sono tanto sicuro. Forse sì.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Ah. Quindi esco da qua.
Remember,
Guarda, è
all you
chiusa.
need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ma se tu mi dai la scelta, io sono stronzo.
No!
Oh.
Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too
Mi
late.
sei baccato. No, non mi sembra.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what?
Calmati.
What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much
Oh,
garbage?
rilassati.
It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to
È
do?
un gioco.
Even if there
E
were
però
a
è
way to
programmato
continue,
tu.
would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I
Non posso
can't
salire
lose
qua.
that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever.
Oh.
Reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely?
No.
To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game
No.
down. I have to. I have to.
Per cui forse si sale. No. Che cosa stai combinando? Ecco, ha rotto il gioco. Appunto.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed.
È colpa
It's the
tua.
only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground.
No,
Did
non
you
dare
think
colpa a
that would
me.
be funny? You just had
Se
to
mi dai una
see.
scelta posso
Didn't
scegliere.
I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually
Ma io non
knows how
sono
to do what I
Stanley,
tell him
il
to.
personaggio
He
è Stanley.
understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been
Addirittura.
so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make
Ecco.
is behave exactly as Stanley would.
Ma-
That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first.
No,
I'm quite sure
non
you'll
è-
be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Is behaving
Ma non l'ho
exactly as Stanley
risetta.
would. That means choosing responsibly.
Mi sa che
and
adesso se
always
facciamo
putting
sempre
the
lo
story
stesso ci
first.
risetta.
I'm quite sure
Andiamo
you'll be up to
avanti,
the task.
proviamo.
Just follow
Questo era
my lead and
buggato,
you'll be
vedrai.
fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Va bene. Ah, perché devo seguire quello che vuoi tu? Oh, sei contento?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer
Ah,
there.
beh. Ma io voglio
Coming
scendere
to a
giù.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Andiamo. Dov'è? Suppongo che sia questo.
Stepping inside his
Giorno.
manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door
Sì.
lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he
non
knew
è
the
attivato, va?
passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now
Appunto.
he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown.
No, non esiste il microfono nel gioco.
And then spoke the code.
Non funziona il microfono nel gioco. No. Ah, ma... Mio Dio, mi sembrava Trump questo. No,
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark
non posso
115.
spoccare niente.
He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Non posso. Ah. Narratore.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please
Sì, perché programmi
speak
male.
the code into the
Non hai messo il
receiver.
microfono.
Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Che noia.
Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you
Calmati.
wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You...
Cosa stavi per...
Standing
What?
into a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley?
Stanley senza anima,
Are you
senza qualcuno,
everything okay?
è un oggetto inanimato, mi dispiace.
I need you to make a choice.
The end.
I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important.
Non mi fa quasi
The
pena.
story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this.
Ah,
The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
mi dispiace l'eroine di pizza per te, ma che... E ancora.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Che ne
decided to
mean?
go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
Vai,
missed a memo.
facciamo che seguiamo le regole questa volta.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
No. Resto qua.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
E io resto qua.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Mi dispiace, ma voglio essere ribelle e stare qua.
Are you really still in the broom closet?
Se
Standing around doing nothing? Why?
così,
Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
così, per romperti le scatole.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it.
Ma mi piace il ripostigli.
Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning.
Vediamo dove vuoi arrivare.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid.
Ecco che...
Probably only got the
Cioè,
job
cos'è
because of
questa
the family connection.
body
That's how
shaming?
stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Eppure, cioè, si sta un po' arrabbiando. E io resto qua, mi dispiace.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, second player. It's good to have you.
Second player.
I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
Siamo second player. Allora, io direi di andare giù.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical
Ma sempre 11-12.
sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
Vero.
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Già.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar.
Sì.
They were simply repeating. No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then
No,
he
cosa?
imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head.
Sentiamo.
One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm
Già.
thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke
Oh mio Dio, quanto dura.
to dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt
no.
the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of
Ma si
the
vede un
mattress
po'.
on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons.
Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Sono riuscito
My
a passare.
life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Mhm. No.
Stanley began screaming.
Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am
Che
I?
scena!
And everything went black.
Ecco. È resettato, vediamo.
This is the story
no.
of a woman named Mariella.
Ma come?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular
Oh
day,
no!
her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself,
Stanley!
then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Questa partita è durata il più del normale, quindi io direi che andiamo a finire questo episodio. Questo gioco è incredibile perché cambia continuamente, cioè potete fare le stesse cose, però cambia, anche di poco cambia. È una genialata. Però comunque, siamo ormai oltre i 40 minuti, quindi io direi che questa puntata la chiudiamo qui. Ricordatevi che se non siete iscritti iscrivetevi, lasciate un like, lasciate un commento, attivate la campanellina e sponsorizzate il canale. Vi ringrazio tantissimo di avermi seguito e vi saluto alla prossima puntata.